It's freezing cold. You've got nowhere to sleep tonight. No food and no money. On these freezing cold Ripon streets in North Yorkshire. It's dark. And the only place you can go is in here. This is Ripon Workhouse.
For many, this was a last resort, spending the rest of their lives in here, with death being one of the only means of getting out. But countless reports of ghostly sightings, children's laughter and poltergeist activity, this is definitely a place we need to spend the night. Workhouses, or sometimes referred to as the poorhouse, were institutes set up in Britain to provide work and accommodation for the poor. Although these types of places have been around since the 14th century, it was in 1832 that the government introduced the Poor Law to give poor people a place to live in exchange for doing work. Over 500 of these places were built in just a decade all over the country. The idea, getting poor people off the streets. In Ripon, many people who could not afford to live would enter these doors, where you'd apply to be admitted, and paupers would then appear before the guardians who would decide your fate. They'd be made to strip and take a bath, with the water being changed only once a day. Clothes would be cleaned before entering. Nobody wanted to be one of the last people in that day, because the water would be cold and very dirty. These cells were kept for tramps, who would spend up to 2 nights with a roof over their head in exchange for 2 days of hard labour. Those who would stay permanently were kept in this block, with the men and the women separated into wings on either side. Daily work would include crushing stones, chopping wood, while women would work in the kitchen and children would be educated in a classroom. Many families would be forced into the workhouse if the household father had committed a crime and was sent to prison, meaning the wife and children would be evicted from their homes. The youngest person to enter the workhouse was just 2 weeks old. One story tells of a woman and child who tried to enter Ripon Workhouse. She was poor and had nowhere to stay, and with her baby. She drank alcohol earlier in the evening and was deemed too drunk by the guardians to stay, so she slept outside in the cold. The next morning, she was sober enough to go inside, but her baby had died. Staff who work at the museum claim that the doorbell at the front of the building will ring, despite CCTV showing that nobody is there. Could this be the spirit of someone trying to get to their last resort? On the 28th of November 1855, 61-year-old Harriet Rodwell realised she would never get out of the workhouse and decided that death was the only way for her. She fastened a shawl around her neck and attached it to a door handle. Whilst in a sitting position at the top of the stairs, she slid down, strangling herself. These stairs were recently discovered behind a wall after renovation work, and her spirit has been seen in this area in the daytime by terrified office workers who now work in this converted part of the workhouse. Another story claims that a drunk Margaret Clark was dragged to these stairs and had cold water thrown on her in an attempt to subdue her and rape her by one sinister master. In total, 72 deaths have been registered between these walls in just 62 years. This would not include a workhouse that was built on the exact site before this one was built. One woman lost her child, believed to have been taken from her by authorities. She is believed to have been seen in the main workhouse garden, but also inside the building, looking for her child. The doors in the Tramp's cells have been known to slam shut all by themselves, and banging has been heard in the area. Could this be the souls of restless spirits stuck here for eternity? One couple visiting the museum claimed to have seen a man pushing a penny farthing from the master's house, despite being the only people in the museum at that time. Many other people have claimed to have seen this ghostly apparition. Children were inmates here, and the sounds of children playing and laughing have been heard. One child in particular has made his presence known to multiple mediums. He's called Henry, and he's only 5 years old. Records do prove this boy existed, as he was sent to the workhouse with his mother. A figure has been captured on camera in the clothing store, which is currently in the archives of the museum. So it's time to get the night vision cameras out, switch the lights off, and see what the ghosts of Ripon Workhouse have got in store for us. I'm going to go around the workhouse in quite an order, so I'm going to start as if I was being admitted and sent to the waiting room.
This is a room known as the waiting room, and you can imagine why it's called the waiting room. When people were brought in this place, they obviously had to go and be checked out and be basically seen to before they could enter the workhouse. And this is a room obviously where people would come and they would have to sit and wait, and you would find out what was going to happen to you. Were you going to be admitted into the workhouse, or were you going to be rejected? What was your role going to be? What were you going to be doing? What kind of work were you going to be doing in here? You would have a proper examination, and then you would go and stand before those at the top, and they would judge basically whether you were fit enough to come in here. Now, I'm going to turn the camera around. As you can see, we've got a Ouija board set up there already. We've had paranormal investigators in here, in this room, and up here you've got different little cupboards. I think these are modified from days later on after this place was used as a workhouse. And there's the door, and I'm just going to bring the camera and show you the seating area. There we go. So people would have sat along these benches and basically sat and waited their fate, and then I'll show you so you get a perspective which part of the building we're in. Out there is, let's lift this veil up, you can see the main street below, and the front entrance of Ripon Workhouse is just down there below. So I'm going to just take a seat probably in this corner, and we can ask some questions and see if we can get any responses. So spirit beings, if you're in this room, if you're in here and you want to make contact with me, please come forward. We know there's plenty of activity gets reported in this part. Got a little fireplace just to my right hand side there. Did you have to come and wait and find out your fate? Wait to find out your fate. Horrible, isn't it? Absolutely horrible. You know, we can't really imagine something like this going on in 2020. I mean, even a prison in the UK would have better conditions than one of these places. It's probably the truth. Is there any spirits in here? In fact, I'm going to take a EMF meter. We'll put it down on the table. Spirits, can you come towards the EMF meter that I've put on the table and just light it up with your energy if you're in the room? That would be amazing. In fact, I can try and just give it a little walk around first, just to get a reading of this room, just to make sure there's no electrical impulses coming through anywhere. And we can, what's that say? Ripon Poor Law Union. Basically the rules that you would have to follow when you were admitted into this place. Spirits, is there anybody in here can make a tap or a bang or any form of communication just to let me know that you're with us in here tonight? Can you whistle? If I make a whistle sound, can you copy that? Now, one thing I will point out, we do get a little bit of noise from outside. Ripon on a Friday night can be jumping, so I will just bear that in mind with you. And so there is, these windows aren't double glazing, by the way, so you might hear a little bit of a noise coming through. Spirits, can you come and interact? Can you come up to this grey box and let me know if you can communicate with us in here tonight? You hear some people walking past outside. Do our best to ignore it. Ripon is a beautiful place. If you ever come up to North Yorkshire, pop in sometime. Spirits, if you're in here, you're maybe a child, maybe you were homeless, maybe you unfortunately met your end in this place. Come forward, let me know that you're in here tonight. I'm going to put that on there, like that. I'll stand back from it and zoom in so you can see it. Come up to the grey box, come up to the table. You can see the Ouija board that someone's left on the table. Come up to it. Put your energy forward into it. Let us know that you're present. It's kind of hard to imagine really what people in today's day and age which people in our society would have ended up in a workhouse. You kind of got to imagine this is kind of like the job centre. You know, the people that came here didn't have work. They didn't have anywhere to get money from. They couldn't pay rent. They couldn't find anywhere to live and find money to eat, basically. And these were people, if you imagine a job centre in the UK, and I don't know what they have in other places around the world if you're watching in America or Canada or across Europe, but these are people who would have been out of work. They would have been people who could have been laid off from work. They weren't necessarily stupid people. They were people who, for whatever reason, their business failed. It did happen. Innocent people were brought into these places that, when I say innocent, you didn't even have to be a criminal. You could be just someone who was uneducated at school. A lot of people just couldn't be, they couldn't afford education, and they would end up in a place like this. We hear stories about people who were babies, weeks, months old, that were brought in, that were born into these places, and their life started in these places. It's quite a sad thing to get your head around, and this was a time where poverty was a lot worse than what it is right now in the UK. So that's something we've got to bear in mind. These people might not have known what was out there for them, and once you were in a place like this, you couldn't just walk out the front door, because where were you going to go? There wasn't job schemes for people from the workhouse. A lot of people came in here and this was it. This was your life. This was your working life. There were people in here up to the age of 80 years old, down to 9 months old. This was a place where everybody in society was coming, or could come. I think it's incredibly sad. I think it is incredibly sad. So I'm going to ask spirits, if you were in here, you came in this room to find out your fate, you sat and waited around this seating area around here, can you make a noise? Can you let me know that you're in here? And even touch the EMF meter that's on the table there. Just let me know that you're here. Got to admit, if you were in here, you'd be nervous, you'd be terrified, wondering what was going
what was going to happen to you. What was going to happen? Can you move a chair? Can you even just let me know? Make the air temperature cold. That would be really cool if you could do that. Just make an orb or something like that. Go across the screen with the camera. Just bring your energy forward. That would be amazing if you could do that. That would be really, really amazing. This place has got so much history to it. There was a workhouse, there was a building on this site before this very building was built. This whole land has got a history of being a place of work, being the workhouse. And you know, at the time it was a good idea. It was a very good idea to have something like this that could bring people who weren't in work and just get them doing whatever. Put a roof over their head, and it certainly put food in their mouths. And maybe it wasn't the nicest of places, but it was better than being out on the street. Some people didn't even get a chance to come this far, but it's just an incredibly strange place. You get a very strange atmosphere in workhouses, and I know I've been in the one in Newcastle before, and you know, you hear about this. They're very famous places. If you've read the Oliver Twist and Charles Dickens, and these places were a big part of Victorian working life. I'm going to move on to another room, so if there's any spirits in here, you know, we wish you all the best. Let's move. So let me show you where people would have come once they'd waited in the waiting area here in the Ripon Workhouse. They would have come through this door. They would have been called upon to go and meet the guardians. Now that would have been through here. Let the door shut. We are at the top of some stairs. Now this is obviously a modern door. This wouldn't have been here back in Victorian times. Neither would this lift, which is good that they've got that there though, makes it more accessible. And then they would have waited outside this room here. This is the guardian's room. We get a lot of paranormal activity in here. I'm just going to find the door handle. It's not easy in the darkness. And here we go. This is the guardian's room, where you would have come and basically found out your fate. You'd have waited. This was the room. It's very creaky, the floor. Just got to be careful as well. They've got a folded up rug down there. So this is the room. You would have stood in front of the guardians. Now if you've ever seen, like say the film Oliver, they were fat men who were wealthy and were well fed. But I'm being told that here in Yorkshire they weren't like that. They were farmers. They were just people who were good people who wanted to try and help. Did I just see an orb? I don't know. Did I just see an orb? I'm not sure. Let's have a little wander around. So you can see we've got a little window out here which overlooks onto. Oh, there's the main block. There's the main block. You can just see. We're going to go in there in just a bit. So you've got the big table, and Board of Guardians would have probably been around here and would have determined what would happen to you. Look at this. Oh wow! You can see a map of the site. So over here you've got. This is the building that we're in now, which is currently Ripon Workhouse Museum. But this is where you would have come and found yourself being brought in, basically. And then over here, I'll zoom in, that's the main block where you've got the men's wing this side, women's wing on that side. And then sadly, a lot of these buildings behind it, over here, sadly no longer exist. They're sort of gone with the times. Oh, just walked into a chair that I didn't realise was there. Let's ask out in this room. We do get a lot of paranormal activity. There has been sightings of all sorts in this room. So let's ask out. If there's anybody in here with me now, can you make a noise? Can you make a tap or a bang? And I've just noticed it's gone very, very cold. I've gone very, very cold in here. Very, very cold in here. You'll be able to see my breath, I'd imagine. Maybe not. If there's anybody in this room with me now, please come forward. I'll see if I can bring out the EMF meter and just pop it down somewhere. Yes. It's hard to see when I've got no light. I'm going to miss the table. I'm literally using UV light to try and see where I'm going. If there's anybody in here with me, can you make the light flash? Can you come up to this grey box that I've just put down and bring your energy forward? People say that you get a lot of noises up in here, footsteps walking around. And if you are here, I'm going to stand as still as I can. Can you move, walk along this wooden floor for me? Were you once one of the guardians of this place, Ripon Workhouse? Was your job to bring people in, let people find out their fate and know if they were going to have some sort of room over their head? There's another table just down here. I'm literally just going on this place off the screen that I've got. We are in absolute darkness here. As you can see, walking around is very tricky because that's how dark it is, and that's what I need to try and walk around. So I am in darkness to try and contact whatever is in here with me tonight. Now it's gone very, very cold. In a minute we will get the thermal imaging camera out. I think that could be something that we need to do, just to see if there's any temperature fluctuations in this room. So I'll get that out for you now. So I've now got the thermal imaging camera. It is a Seek thermal. It just plugs into the bottom of your iPhone, but it creates this brilliant thermal imaging that we've got. So I can see one or two heat fluctuations going on there. So we're getting a maximum of 25 degrees, minimum of 24. So there's a bit of a warm spot over there, which is, it's weird, it's just a wall. Oh, look at that. What is that? In the corner there. Let's have a little wander around, make sure I don't walk into anything. I am seeing heat on the camera. Let's just go and see what that is. Walking very slowly so I don't trip over anything in the dark. So it appears just a part of the floor that's I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's coming up as being 22 degrees. Just looks like a part of just walking very, very slowly here. It's right in front of me, whatever it is. I've got two chairs there. Oh, and a big cold spot. A big cold spot. Spirit, If that is someone in there, we've got a big cold spot. I am not sure what is causing that. You can see there two chairs and a table, but we are getting a big heat spot there. Surely that's not on the chairs, where as if somebody's been sitting there, and then a big cold spot. Surely that's not the chairs. What the hell is that? You can clearly see something, as if someone has been sat there. Someone is sitting there. That is so bizarre. That is so bizarre. We're getting a heat spot, but all I'm seeing is a chair, some tables. There's definitely a 2-degree fluctuation in temperature. This is about 1 o'clock in the morning. There's no sun coming through here. If I just take it back to the... We are getting some heat temperature on the table there. That's just me on the floorboards, by the way. But there's definitely something. It's hard to make it out. It's very hard to make it out. It's not like someone sat in the chair. It's like two. And then over there. But there's only one chair there, so it doesn't really. Big cold spot. Big cold spot there. That's very unusual. Very unusual. Oh, look what this is. These are letters. And duties that people would have to have carried out. And look at this, big chair. Big chair. Status symbol. This chair was used by the chairman of Ripon Union Board of Guardians. I'm going to come and do a vigil and sit in this chair. I'll tell you what, if I put my camera away, we'll come back and sit in the chair. Camera's away. I'm going to go and sit in the Guardians. Wow, you've got to step up, look. You've got to step up. This is, make sure I don't forget that. I sit in this chair, I feel very big, very powerful, and I would have so much power over who came through that door over there. Let me just sit back and get comfy. Oh, this is a lovely chair. This is a lovely chair, and I've got the big board table in front of me. I look up, I've got the beams and the lights. Spirit, if there's anybody in this room with me that was linked to the workhouse here in Ripon, can you make a noise? Can you move one of these chairs or anything in the room? Make a tap or a bang. Can you appear in the form of some sort of light anomaly? An orb? How would you feel I'm sitting in this seat? The Guardians, the big person in the room. How did it make you feel when you used to have to come in here and stand in front of me? Essentially me. Were you one of the Guardians that came in this place? Come on, spirits. I'd love to make contact with you tonight. Make a tap, make a bang. Give me your presence. Oh, something just went past the camera. They always say it's that far corner over there where there's a table. I've been told people hear a lot of footsteps and noises from over there. Oh, I've gone cold. I've gone cold. I feel like something is sitting where I'm sitting. Obviously it's just possibly me. But can I see what that photo is from here? That painting? No. Too far away in the night vision. Spirit, we're going to be going over to the main block, which is where maybe some of you would have wanted to have gone. Maybe you were the guardians who spent so much time here deciding who came in, who didn't come in. One lady she had a young child, was turned away from this place. She slept outside on the street. Her child didn't survive. How do you feel about that? That you were responsible for people's lives and people's well-beings. Do you think the conditions in here were good? Some drawers and some cupboards over there. I'm going to get up and go and take a little look what we've got over here. Oh, watch the carpet. Oh, they're locked. They're locked. It's a stunning place. And these workhouses were pretty much everywhere in Victorian Britain. Pretty much everywhere. Some more photographs on the wall. Westminster Workhouse. Spirit, it's your last chance. I'm going to move on to another part of this workhouse building. Can you contact me? Can you let me know in any way that you're here? Should we try a spirit box? Let's try a spirit box. Okay, so this is a spirit box. It scans through the frequency, the radio frequencies, and many people believe it gives spirits the chance to communicate. Hello, spirit. Can you communicate with me if I put this down? I'm going to ask you some questions. Let's get the volume turned up. Okay, spirit, we're ready to go. What is your name? Can you give me a name? I'm getting something can do. What was your role here at Ripon Workhouse? Did you die in here? things up. How did you die in here? Were you a guardian? What were the conditions like in this place? Oh, whoa. Noises, taps. Spirit, can you say your name loud and clear? Can you repeat that? I didn't hear that. Spirit, is there a message you would like to give me? Would you like me to leave? I'll move on to another room, another part of the building. What would you like me to do? I feel like it's trying to say something. Spirit, how many of them are there? How many people are here? Is there two? It's got freezing cold in this room now. Freezing cold. Spirit, what is your name? Please say it loud and clear. Kind of saying something. It's not making much sense. I'm going to move on. I'm going to try and find another part of this amazing workhouse.
Once people in this workhouse were brought in, it was very much a simple process of where they would go next. Let me show you. So this is the nurse's room. This is where they would come and they would get obviously examined. They would get checked out in this part of the workhouse. And there's some old pictures just to go over some artifacts there of what this place would have been like. And once you were examined by a nurse in here, you would have come through and you would have had a bath. And this is where you were given a bath. There's two baths here, bath A and bath B. Now they always say that you should have been here very early on and had one of the first baths, because the bath water was never changed over the course of a day. You were bathed in the same water as those that were in here before you, which is not obviously hygienic in today's terms, but yeah. This is where the baths were, and of course your clothes would have been washed, your working clothes would have been washed. So I'm going to ask out in here, if there's any spirits in this room, please let me know by tapping or making a knocking sound. Can you speak to me or let me know that you're present in this room? Were you one of the children that would have visited this workhouse explore around. You just can't imagine it being walked into here, and the receiving ward, as this room is officially known as, but obviously a nurse would have been here. There's a little bed over here in the corner as well. Was that a proggy mat? Bed. And this would have been very much as it is right now. They've done a good job here, the Ripon museums, to keep this place as realistically as real as it would have been back in Victorian times, back in Victorian England. So let's just have a little look again at these baths. You can see you would have stripped off and you would have gone into one of these. Now they would have been full of water, like I say. They wouldn't have been warm and they wouldn't have been cold. Well, they would have been freezing cold, if I'm being honest with you. And a sink over here as well, 2 sinks, which you would have used to wash with. Spirits, is there any spirits in this part of the workhouse would like to make contact with me tonight? Please do so. Please move something, move one of these chairs, move the table, make a noise, make a bang, or even appear and let me see you. I would love to see a spirit like yourself face to face. It would be an experience of a lifetime, and I'd love to have that. So look at what looks like another, is that a fireplace? I can't really see in the dark. Clothes just hung up there. You know, a really famous TV show came in here and recorded and got some quite interesting results. But I've been told that doesn't usually happen when there's not a TV crew. I'm not insinuating anything, but yeah. Spirits, can you say, can you speak? Can you drag one of these chairs along? Here we go. Light it up. A little walk around. Spirits, if you can come towards this grey box, that would be fantastic. Oh, is that a footstep? Hello? 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 What's down here? This building is like a little maze once you get into it. It's very difficult to find your way around. I did think I heard footsteps, but again, this is a room that echoes, and there's so much, you can hear my voice, it's just echoing around. If we go further around, we will get to the cells where people would have been temporarily housed, and that is just here. So you would come round, you'd take your bath, get dried, and then you'd go through this door right here.
These are the tramp cells where people who were just here temporarily were given a roof over their head. The conditions were generally awful. But at the end of this corridor is an actual mortuary. Everybody who died at Ripon Workhouse, their body was brought here.
So I've got out the good old K2 meter, the EMF meter, which I'm just going to switch on there. If you've never seen this before, it works just like what you were getting in your local electrician. You hear little taps. I think that could have been a floorboard. Your local electrician would use one of these if he's drilling through a wall and he doesn't want to hit some electrical cables. This just detects electromagnetic fields. So I'm just going to put this on the side of that bed there. You can get a little spike there.
spirits, if you're in here and you can come close to that grey box, please move forward and put your energy in there. We can see you, you can light the thing up, and we can certainly be able to communicate with you that way. So, I know if you go through there, that takes you out into the workyard, and then over to the main block, which we'll be going to a little bit later on. This place fills me with sadness just to be in here. Spirit, did you die in this very room where the EMF meter is? Did you lie on this bed? If you can, please come towards the bed now. If you can put your energy forward. See if I can zoom in on it from here. You can see the EMF meter. It's got one light on, which is quite normal. Walk around in here, and obviously if I put it close to the fire alarm, don't want to press that, I'll be evacuated. I find it so tragic that all these people died in this place they were here to do work, and they were essentially the tramps, people who were brought into this place. You were a tramp, you were given one night to stay and then you had to move on or find work, but it's just so tragic to see. So tragic to see. I'll put the EMF meter away and see if we can move around. I have come into one of these little cells which would have been used to obviously keep people in. If you were a tramp and you were here just for the night, you would have been locked in one of these. And the space inside here is maybe 2.5 strides forward. It's very tiny. And then of course you've got a little chair just to sit on that side. That was just me kicking the chair. So spirits, if there's anyone who would like to make contact in here, please do so. Can you make a noise? Can you make a tap or a bang? Knock on the door. Just let me know in some way that you're here. In fact, I've got the good old EMF meter ready to go. Can you come towards this box? Bring your energy forward. Can you touch this? Like this, what I'm doing now. Just bring your energy through to this box and see if you can light it up. I've got one light on there. See if we can get 3 or 4. If you came here in Ripon in the 1800s or even the early 1900s, come and interact with me. Can you light this box up? It would be amazing if you could.
it would be amazing. It kind of feels a bit quiet in this bit. They say the main block on the other side is more active, but
I now had access to go across to the main block, which is separate from the Ripon Workhouse Museum. In this block, men and women would have stayed and have been separated on each wing. Much of this building has now been converted into office and learning space. Do the souls of those who once lived here and worked here still remain between these walls?
I'm in the women's wing here at Ripon Workhouse in a section where the predominant ghost that gets picked up in here is a lady by the name of Harriet Rodwell. Now, she was only 61 years of age when she took her life on the staircase in this section of the building. Now, as you can see, turn this round, this part of the building is quite largely different to how it would have been. It's modern. We've got little bookshelves here with plants on it. And of course, yeah, there you go. Lottery funding means that these rooms get hired out for various functions, various events. So, as you can see, a lot of the rooms might have been carpeted. This one in particular hasn't. So we're going to try and speak to Harriet, see if she's with us here tonight. And I must admit, out of all the places in this building that we've been to, this is the coldest. It's freezing in here. But this is where a lot of people pick up on her spirit, so we're just going to ask. And I've got the K2 meter, which I'm going to pop down on the table. Just do a little bit of a walk around with it first, just to get some readings. So, as you would expect, nothing in particular. Now there is a central heating system, but that shouldn't interfere with us. So I'm just going to put this on the table in the centre of the room and just ask, Harriet, are you with me here tonight in Ripon? I don't know if that was a building creak, but it was sort of like it did make a noise. Can you come and touch this, like what I'm doing here? This box, it's got little lights on it. You can touch it and the lights will light up with your energy. If you're with me here, please let me know that you're here. Touch them. Hang on, that box is flashing. Can you get that? Are you getting that? Thank you. Harriet, is this you? Please. Yeah, we're getting it. I don't know if you can see that as well on the night vision. Harriet, please do that again. Yeah, we're getting activity in here. Now I'm standing nowhere near it. Harriet, if that is you, please do that one more time. There we go again. Can you light it? Nothing could be under that table, can there? There's nothing under that table. That table is... I thought there might be like a box of electronics or something under there. See, when I sit here and ask nothing there, just so you know where I'm stood. Harriet, please do that again. There we go, look at that. Look at that, it's flashing away. Oh, it stopped. There we go. Let me just explain to you what a K2 EMF meter does. It's picking up electromagnetic energy. Now I'm standing right at the back of the room. I'm nowhere near it, so anyone can say that my camera is interfering with it. My phone's switched off, it won't be my mobile phone. But I'm just going to zoom in. For those thinking that I'm interfering with that box on there, it's not even flashing at the minute. But I'm just going to zoom in. I'm stood nowhere near it. And that is flashing. That is flashing. It's currently two lights flashing. I'm going to stand here, you might get a better view. I'm nowhere near that box. Harriet, are you with me here tonight? I'm going to zoom back out, get a bit of... It's hard to keep a steady hand. If I stand here, you might see it more. Harriet, if you're with me here tonight, can you touch that box? Okay. We're getting 2 green lights, if that is you, Harriet. Thank you. You can take a step back. I just want to, for reference, that door, behind that door is the staircase where Harriet took her life. If you're with me, flash, there we go. There we go, look at that. It is going mad. It is going mad. Thank you for that. Thank you. And just so you know, I'm nowhere near it. If you can see the table, I'm way down here. So it's a good 3 or 4 meters away from me. So, and these things are only picking up the electromagnetic field of things around them. Now, conditions in this place were, we know, absolutely terrible. It was possibly one of the reasons why Harriet decided that she was going to take her own life, and if that is, you can say that this is paranormal, that this box, and again, I'm going to lift this up because people will say that we're putting things under here. You can see under the table, it's just a normal table. And that thing is going off. We're getting activity here, and thank you. I'm so far away from it now. It can't be any further away from that box. And I'll zoom in and look at it go. Look at it go. Now, the first thing we need to do is look at any potential reasons why that would be doing that. The lights are switched off. We're in complete darkness. Absolute darkness in here. I'm only using the night vision screen and the viewfinder to see where I'm going. As I walk around here, it's gone off. We're not getting any activity on it. Oh, there we go. 2. I'm going to pick it up. See, I'm walking around the room. I'm walking around and it's stopped. It's only on 1. It is only on 1. A lot of people will think it's our equipment, it's our cameras. As you can see, we get right up close. It does absolutely nothing. Cameras should have no impact on what a K2 EMF meter does. But as soon as I come back to this table, put that down, and there it goes. There's nothing electronic about the table. There's something about the centre of this room. Hence why we're getting activity. And it seems to have settled. It seems to have settled. It's flashing a little bit on and off. There we go.
Let's try and contact her. Harriet, if it's you, please talk to me. Please hold down, touch that box and make it flash, make it light up as best you can. Try and get it all the way to the end. Try and get all the little lights lit up. It's struggling. Getting the odd flash. Harriet, if you're with me here tonight, I totally appreciate that you're maybe trying to contact us. There we go again. It's going 3, 2, 3. I'm zoomed in. I'm nowhere near the box. I'm not interfering with it. I'm not touching it. Harriet, if you're in this room with me and you'd like to contact me, touch the box. Touch the grey box again, just to prove it's you. We're getting to, and whether you can say that this is paranormal. A lot of people say this is one of the scientific ways that you can detect whether... Oh, there it goes. As soon as I zoom out, look. As soon as I zoom out, if I even hold the camera close, you can see the camera does not interfere with it at all. And it goes quiet again. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. In theory, that K2 meter should not be picking anything up in the middle of a room where there's no energy around it. That should be picking anything like that up. See that sort of level that it's on, 2 to 3 stars, 2 to 3 lights rather. That's kind of like what you would expect your TV at home. So you're getting this. You're talking about the same currency, the same current that's going through the air around it. And as far as I'm concerned, that's impressive. It's gone quiet. Harriet, thank you. If that was you, thank you so much. I'm going to leave you, but if that was you contacting me, it's been fantastic talking to you. Thank you so much. It has been said that a male spirit gets picked up in this part of the building by a man called Stan. Stan the man. A lot of mediums pick up on him. Just going to see if we can record. This is the old men's wing on the... we're getting some clicks. The old men's wing here at Ripon. So let's see what we can get. Are we going to catch any activity in here tonight? This has obviously been converted into a modern day classroom. You've got the old, the old men's wing would have been in this section. It's all been ripped out and it's all now, as you can see, whiteboards and what have you. Stan, are you with me here tonight? Can we make contact with you? Are you in this wing? Did you serve your time here? And look what we're going to do. Get the K2 meter out, put it in the middle of the table. Stan, if you're with me, you'd like to make contact, try and flash the lights on that. It's really good what we've been getting with you, or what we've been getting so far here in Ripon. If we can even just get a light to flash on here, like what we were getting with Harriet before, coming through in the women's wing. If you can tap, I'm going to tap on the table. Are you in here with me?
Come on, talk to me. We know that you've been here. People have spoken to you. You've been seen on countless occasions. I know it doesn't feel right doing a vigil in what appears to be a modern day classroom. I'm also going to take this next door as well. This is pretty much unrecognisable from this staircase going up there. Oh. Now this is a classroom, an art room, if you like, that's been made use of a former section here. I'm not sure what the original room would have been for, but it's a different type of work that goes on in here now, isn't it? It's gone from being hard labour to art classes and craft work. Is anyone in here tonight able to make contact with me? Touch the grey box if you're here with me in this section. I'm guessing these would have been original windows as well. These aren't modern day windows like what we've got in the room next door. Can you tap on something? Can you let me know that you're in here with me tonight? Make a noise, make a bang. It's you don't get that feeling of being frightened in here compared to other parts of the museum, because it just feels like a classroom, like a school, which I guess this is what its main purpose is now. If you're in here with me, let me know. One of the main tasks that people who came here would have had to have done when they were here in the workhouse would have been kitchen-based tasks. There would have been a lot of manual-based tasks, and this is where we are right now. This is the kitchen area, where you can imagine there would have been a lot of people cooking or making bread and all kinds of things. Let's have a little bit of an explore. Here we go, let us have a little look around. So we've got here different things that the museum have got let out. I mean, obviously this is all replica-based stuff, and we've got equipment here. These probably aren't the original pieces that people would have used back in the day, but as you can see, people would have made cakes and maybe anything bread based, anything like that. And this is a room where people would have it would have been really warm in here, I'd imagine. You would have had things like this on, the old stoves, the old cookers on. It would have been really warm. There would have been fire on, which I'm guessing would have been over here in this section right here, and of course in the middle bit it would have weighed your ingredients out. This would have been the main section. Some more artifacts and things over here, things that would have been used, knives, various appliances in there as well. Look at all that food in the workhouse. And I love how they call them inmates, as if they're prisoners. Well, they technically are. They're technically people who are in here working as I think that's some sort of refrigerator has just kicked in. And then, of course, from here you get a view out of what would have been the play yard, and no further entry into there. If there's anybody in here tonight who would like to contact me and let me know that you're here at this time, it's very oh, and the clock stopped. clock has stopped. That is not the time. It is not 3 o'clock in the morning. Make a noise in here, just tap something. Just make an object move. I'm going to put the K2 down. Where shall we put it? Let's put it here next to this mixing bowl. There we go, it lights up. And as you can see, we've got one. I'll keep an eye on that. Please let me know you're in here. We've got the night vision camera as well. We've got the thermal imaging camera, which is currently recording any heat signals that's being emitted. People believe that if you've got a ghost, it usually emits a cold spot. Can you touch something? Can you see if we can make a noise with this bowl? Can you copy that? Can you make that noise? Try and find something that might make a better noise than that. Let's tap these scales, for example. I'm going to tap these scales. If you can copy that, maybe do that yourself, that would be fantastic. Can you do that? Can you touch the EMF meter? That's just here. Just do what I'm doing. Just touch it like that. See if you can light it up. Did you used to work here? Were you a maid in the kitchen? Was this your place where you'd work and they'd give you your time to your bed, basically your accommodation? Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're here. Can you let me know that you're here in this building with me? In this kitchen of the workhouse here in Ripon. I must admit, I'm not feeling much in this part.
My night in Ripon Workhouse was quite interesting. The museum building itself was quite quiet, but were we really making contact with the spirit of Harriet Rodwell? If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. There's plenty more of that where this came from. But thanks for watching and good night.